Okay, guys, I really apologize for that. We are back for part two. So don't really know what was causing that issue, but have no fear. We are back and we are better than ever. So let's dive into it, shall we? And this is still acting a little bit weird, so we're going to reload this and then we are going to get to work here. So, like I was trying to do before, I don't know why this thing is doing that, but it's okay. Um, this is going to be, yeah, let's see, 2995 times like 1517. Yep, and this is not. We're going to have to do this manually. So we're going to go 1517. So we always do oddball, weird numbers. In my experience, it feels like a more genuine offer. So we could just offer $1,500, sure. But in my experience, this actually works a lot better. If you're building out something that feels a little more bespoke, it feels like it's true to the property's value. So we always do oddball numbers. And then now it looks like it's going to work here. So let's do this. Here we go. 24, what's this? 18 times 213 to 147. Boom. Actually, let's lower this a little bit. Let's just see what happens there. All right, so now we're going to run this up. And then as we get here, we can lower this a little bit as well. We'll come through and kind of smooth some of this pricing out. 1900. Okay, now we're in the 2000s. Let's pull this down. So when I'm first building out this mailer, we're gonna have like weird kind of breaks where it's like 2000, the 1910, but we can come through and smooth this out. I just want to get it in a spot that I feel comfortable with, and then we can go through and we'll kind of test our pricing, and then we'll kind of smooth it out a little bit. So for these 2 acres, I want to be about $1,000 an acre or so. We'll drill this down a little bit lower here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So these mailers are pretty damn easy to create just because one, we've worked this area before. Go 8. And this land is just really straightforward, to be honest. It's nothing too crazy. And for a lot of people, this offer isn't going to work. They're going to say no. But for a select number of them, this will make a lot of sense. And so we're really just building it out for the people um, where, cashing in and not having to pay closing costs, getting the money in 2 weeks or less, not having to list with a realtor or put it on the market and have to deal with the ambiguity of like, is it going to sell? How much are we going to sell it for? It's just a weird human phenomenon that like we prefer certainty. A sure thing is better than a what if, right? So it's like a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush type phenomenon. So for some people, this makes a lot of sense. For others, it doesn't. And they're like, no, I would rather hold on to it or, list it with a realtor and maximize value. And that's totally fine, right? But for a select number of folks, this does make sense. And there we go. So now we're in the 5s. I don't really know what these 5s trade for. So we're going to pop this onto Data Tree, see if we can find any sold comps that are in the same area. I've never bought any 5 acres out here. I really don't know what these things go for. And so one of the things you can do on Data Tree is you can go recent sales and for sale. And Data Tree comps are okay. They're not my favorite, but they get the job done. Same thing, so 18,000. Same thing on Data Tree as what you might find on land.com. We don't really know how far back it goes. It's kind of a black box. We think it's a year or two, but we're not entirely sure. So some of these are kind of trading at a premium. We might be a little low on these 5-acre offers here. Let's see if this thing has a structure on it. And that's got a structure on it too. This is at 11K. What size is this? It's about a 2-acre. These fives were in here around 3. So for properties like this, for these lower end lots, your response rate and acceptance rate is going to be much higher than what we typically see with our mailers for bigger properties. We actually just released a video going over what we see in terms of acceptance rates, response rates for our mailers when we're going after the larger deals. And there's kind of 2 different deals that we look at in the land business. There's the deals where we call this buying equity. You're going after a deal that's worth 50,000 and you're buying it at 20,000, right? Like there's real equity. There's that type of demand has real land. That type of land has real demand. There's intrinsic inherent value to those kinds of properties. Where these lots, they're not the most valuable thing in the world. To be honest, these are like basic commodities. And these ones, you're going to spend more time trying to market them and finding a buyer than you are trying to buy them. Like the acquisitions on these types of properties is typically very easy because it's just not the most high quality premium land. But when you're going after larger properties that have real value, that are actually in demand, a lot of the work is going to be on the acquisitions end. And then for the dispositions, the selling of the properties, they're actually very easy to sell because it's a great product. And if you're listing it at a subtle discount, maybe 90%, 80% of market value, people will be kicking down your door to get a hold of those properties. These ones, we pretty much have to market the heck out of them, offer really flexible owner financing terms before we actually get people that are reaching out to us. But if you go and list this thing with no owner financing at a cash price of, let's say these 5 acres, you're trying to sell them at 15 or 20,000 bucks, you're going to get a few people trickling in, but it might take 6 months to sell. But for a property like this, we would do like $49 down, $250 a month, $300 a month, whatever it may be. So you've got a really low down payment. On these cheaper properties, we typically waive the doc fee. And then you've got a monthly payment that's similar to like a car payment. So it's pretty manageable for most people. And so we find in cases like that, we can sell these properties at a decent clip, but they're still slow moving. And so ironically, our bigger, more premium properties actually typically sell faster. A lot of those lots will be on the market for 30 days, 40 days, where these ones can take, I'd say about 90 days is typical. Some will sell quick, some will sell a little bit faster, but if you blend it together, it's probably about 90 days. So something to be mindful of. And so we typically can get away with offering a much lower percent. Let's say market value is 10 grand for this. We could probably offer 20 cents on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar, and still pull deals out of it. So out of 4,700 mailers, I think it's realistic that we pull 15 to 20 deals out of this. Whereas if we were going after more premium properties where we're truly trying to buy equity, maybe you get a deal or 2 deals from the same amount of mailing. So it's just something to be mindful of. Now, we might be a little cheap on these 5 acres. 3 grand is definitely low. And there's kind of a philosophy in this business. It's like you can offer at a lower percentage of its retail value and send more mail, or you can send less mail and offer closer to market value. And what we find is like, I prefer a strategy where we're really aggressive with our pricing, but we just send more mail. I would prefer to send more mail than to, up our offer prices. So we're probably gonna have to go through here and smooth this out a little bit. So these 4 acres, we're at $650 an acre. 7. So I think we probably need to stay around 700 an acre here as we come up. Even these 3 acres, we might be a wee bit low. See what happens if we pull it up to like 800 an acre. Yeah, I think this is a little more realistic. We probably kicked the price down a little too hard, too fast. Let's see, something like what is this trade for out here? We might be way off on these. These seem a little more premium. I'm seeing retails like 15 to 20. It's terrible road access on these. So you can see like this looks like a county road, doesn't look great. This has what we call platted road access, so you can see there technically is supposed to be a road here, and kind of there is some imprints of what could be a road, and then you hit all this like scrub brush, just like pinyon pine trees here. So it's like, you probably have to drive your car like here and then essentially walk. So yeah, something to be mindful of in some of these subdivisions, especially where there's very little development. They'll have legal road access through having it platted in, but in a lot of cases there's no physical road cut in. So just something to be mindful of. I forget, we bought some 10 acres out here. I think God, what did we buy those things for? I think we bought them around 5 or 6K. Oof. That's not nice. I wonder if this has got boundary easements. Looks like there is a road, so I would reckon there's boundary easements. Someone chopped these all up. Eesh, I don't really like that. And then, so we got 16. So what are these trading for out here? And my premise with building out mailers is like it's really just a function of marketing. Like you got to just get the mail out, right? You can obsess and get stuck in paralysis by analysis, just trying to make your mailings absolutely perfect. It's not really my approach. I would rather just get the mail out there and start getting people calling in and start working deals. So typically my structure is I give myself about 24 hours on a mailer. It depends on the complexity, but let's say I start the mailer today and I'll come back like tomorrow morning and then I'll send it off that day. So I'll give myself the full day initially to go through it, and then that next day I'll give it one last review with fresh eyes, and then boom, I'll send it out. If it's complex, which some of these are, that can definitely change, and so kind of a hard fast rule. But for properties like this, no, I'm not gonna get myself too caught up in trying to make it perfect. So we're gonna kick this down. I think now we could go like 16 acres. I don't know, what's this 16-acre trading for out here? Let's go like 10 to 40. Oops, 10 to 1,000 acres. I don't think there's any 1,000-acre properties out here. All right. Well, there I am. That's not a great property. That's been a really tough one to sell. So this is listed 16 acres at 21. Okay. Things are still, let's go 10. And then let's go look at what's sold. We always value sold comps more than listed comps for obvious reasons. You could, if you're looking at listed comps, it's definitely going to give you the most accurate reflection of what properties are potentially, like what market value is today. But of course, a lot of folks sell for less than they list. So you can apply like an 80% discount rate to what you're seeing. So if you're seeing a property listed at 20, and we're going to use that as some kind of comp in doing our math, well, let's assume that it's most likely going to sell at like 16, right? So 20% discount rate. 13 to 16. Let's see what we have these priced at. Yeah, 8. 40 at 20, 36 at 20. 10, this is us right here. 10 at 14. Again, we don't know how old some of these are. So we're offering like 10 here. Kick this down a little bit. And then we get into these 36s. So, boy, let's go look. So what you're going to find, like Lands of America, Land Watch, Land and Farm, typically that's where the land investors hang out, right? If we want to go look at retail comps, you should look at something that's plugged into the MLS. And MLS listings do trickle onto land.com. If you scroll way down, sometimes you will find them on like the second or third page. I don't know why this isn't pulling up, but yeah, really what we're going to look at here is Redfin. I think Yavapai County is available. If it's not, you can always use Zillow. They're just going to give you just a little more of an accurate read in terms of what folks are listing their properties retail or selling their properties retail. So let's go up here to Seligman, draw a polygon. And this is sold over over the last 3 months. Okay. So 20 at 25. Let's see, how long did this 20 sit on the market for? April 30th at 25, May 12th pending. Okay, not bad. And they sold at their list price. Yeah, that's not bad. So that's a 20 acre at 25,000 bucks. So what is that, like 12, 11, 15 acre, 1,200 an acre? 69, 6, 750, 5, 7, 17, 12. Let's kick this up and look at stuff that's 20 acres and above. So 35 for a 40, 44, 60, 55. This got a little yurt on it at 16, 55, 35. So we'd probably be listing something like this at like 30 to 35. So we want to be in around like what, 15K maybe, 16K. Sure, that works. Pull this up. 40s, it's too high. 370. That's a little too low. Okay, fair. All right. And then we'll go through, price that. So let's see, the jump goes from 18, 541 an acre, 441. Okay. Go see what these puppies are trading for. We're coming in definitely low on those, but lower's always better, right? I think these are being listed for like 5K. We're going to factor in closing costs, right? If we run it through title, we'll have like $800 in closing costs. So we'll be in like 23. If we self-close, we'll probably have 100, maybe 150 in closing costs, depending if we pay for the notary or if seller covers the notary. We typically make the seller cover the notary. So 100 or so is kind of what I would guesstimate here. I'm not seeing much selling out here. I feel comfortable pegging that at 1,500. 16, 17. So it goes, wait, 17, 18. It goes 2K. Let's pull this down. Wait. Here we go. Sorry, it's this one. Let's pull this down. Let's try 11, 19, 2K. 2. Curious what you guys think. How many properties we're going to buy from this? Perhaps I should do a follow-up video and report back on the results. Okay. I think the pricing is in a good enough state here. Let's go sort this and see how many properties are allegedly have structures on them. So we got 182 properties that are saying structures on it. 89,000 square feet. Oh, what? I mean, honestly, since there's so few, there's so few on here and it looks like there's some misinformation, I might just leave these on. What we should do here, I think a better way to sort this is, let's go and sort by market total value, right? So this stuff, I mean, that obviously has a house on it. We can get rid of that. And then we'll just keep the rest. I'm not too concerned about it. There's so few records. Okay. So for us, we use Rocket Print and Mail. That's our mail house that we use. I found that they're pretty hard to compete with in terms of getting better rates than what they offer. The way they structure it is you have to buy in bulk. So you'll pay a partial amount up front. So let's say we wanted to buy 100,000 mailers. I think you put like, I don't know, 20K down or something like that. And then by doing that, it'll lock in a lower rate. So I think we pay 45 cents a mailer. And then for data tree, I think we're at 9 cents per piece of data. So all in 54 cents with data and mailing. That's pretty good. I typically just run it at like 60 cents. It's kind of like what I run my math on just to be conservative. So yeah, they're a pretty good mail house. I definitely do like them. Okay, let's go look at the stuff that's like oddly cheap. What's going on here? Is it landlocked or what? No, looks fine. I don't know. I mean, that's where stuff like this makes me think it's probably pulling some kind of formula from the assessed value. Like maybe those are assessed low and they're just putting a multiple on it or something. I mean, these all look like fine properties. Road frontage. Let's look at the topography. Is there something really wrong with the topography? It's definitely weird. I don't know why they're discounting those so much. No, it's a nice little lot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing that. So we'll leave those on in this case. Sometimes you'll find that those are like landlocked, just crazy garbage properties, or they're in flood zones, or on and on and on the edge of a cliff. And so usually we will scrub those out. But in this case, we're just going to kind of remove that top 10%. And other than that, this mailer is good to go. So if we look at it in total, after removing that top 10%, and removing duplicate owners, we're now at 2,887 because you got to remove that top line. So this is how many data sets that we have in here. We removed the duplicate owners, but as a different, I don't know why there's the same trust on here, but with a different mailing address. So yeah, this looks good to go in our book. So we're going to get this sent out, and we'll let you guys know what the results are. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video here, and we can see exactly how this all shook out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested in more land investing content, please be sure to subscribe. We got a lot of videos on our content calendar that are being released over the next few weeks here. So it's going to be a really exciting time on the channel. My goal and intention here is to give away the farm. Literally, I just want to share what I'm doing, help others along the way. I've been in this business for a while now, and it's something that I love, but it's also incredibly selfish, right? Like I built a business to essentially serve my needs, and I want to do something that makes me feel warm and fuzzy, and I want to give back, and ideally I want to help others and build a community of folks that are also interested in this stuff, because I don't have that many people that I know that are also doing this. And so just, building a community, building a network, and kind of working all together is really my vision here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have any comments, be sure to drop them down below. I respond to every comment. Thank you guys so much for watching.